Hello guys, welcome to this particular video. Yeah, it's been a while I've been on YouTube because of one or two reasons that I'm not allowed to disclose here. But I'm here to tell you that I am back. Aside another reasons that I procrastinate a lot, but I'm back and we are going to pick up from where we left off. As of now, I have a couple of trades lined up that I would love to share my idea with you guys. Let us see what the coming week holds for us. So, right now, I'll be taking you into my screen. Let's go.
You are all welcome into my screen. Welcome once more into my screen. Yeah, I have two trades I would like us to look at, the Euro USD and GBP USD. Yeah, and let's see if there are any trading opportunities on those two pairs coming up next week. Now, as you guys already know, I like starting my analysis from the weekly time frame all the way down to the 1 hour time frame where I execute my trades. And looking at Euro USD, it is cool for you to say Euro USD is in an uptrend, right? And we all know characteristics of an uptrend. Price will keep making higher highs and higher lows. Now, for the way I trade, I like coming down to the weekly time frame to see the previous weekly candle close. Was it bullish? Was it bearish? I come down on the weekly time frame to look at candlestick patterns. What is the candlestick printing? It is what the weekly candlestick is telling me. That is what will determine my entries or my bias for the coming week. And looking at right here on Euro USD, we can see that the previous weekly candlestick was a bearish candle, this particular candle here. It was a bearish candle. What does that mean? It means the coming week I should be looking to sell Euro USD. But from what we can see, you can see that price has come into our support zone. Price is on top of our support zone. What made this particular zone a very solid zone? You can see in the past it acted as a resistance zone couple of times. You can see price reactions at that particular zones. You can see how many times. And remember, this is on a weekly time frame. Now you can imagine how solid that particular zone is. You can imagine how solid this particular zone right here is. And price has come into this particular zone. And we don't know if it wants to break or it wants to head high. Now that on the weekly time frame, I've been able to establish that price is on this support zone, though it closed bearish. I will now go down to the daily time frame. And on the daily time frame, we can see that even after price came into this zone, it put in a bullish candlestick. This is a candlestick that signals a reversal to the upside. But something intrigued happened here. I drew my trend line. And after drawing my trend line, I can see clearly that price has broken this particular trend line. It broke with a daily candle, a daily bearish candle, full candle that broke this particular trend line. But I will not say let me go into this market for a sell right now because price has broken this trend line. While looking at this chart, price is on this particular zone. Now, something else intrigued me, something else caught my attention. I drew another trend line like so. I drew another trend line like so, connecting these two peaks below here. And I can see that probably price might also want to come and test this trend line before we start heading up. I am not saying that Euro USD is bearish. No. Overall, it is bullish, but temporarily it might be bearish, right? So price might want to come and test this particular zone before we continue heading up. Trading is all about probability. That I don't know. But it is after this analysis that I am going to know if I will be bullish on this trade the coming week or if I will be bearish. Now, let me delete this particular zone right here. Now that we have been able to establish that on the weekly time frame, our previous weekly candle close was bearish, but still hanging on top of a support zone. And on the daily time frame, we have seen that price has put in a daily bullish candle here. Let us look at what the 4-hour time frame is telling us. And on the 4-hour time frame, you can clearly see our trend line. You can clearly see this trend line we drew right here. Aside that, price has put in a head and shoulder pattern. Price has put in a head and shoulder pattern. Price did not just put in a head and shoulder pattern. For those who cannot see it, this is what a head and shoulder pattern looks like. This is what a head and shoulder pattern looks like. Now, this is left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Price has broken this particular zone. Price has broken this particular zone. You can call it the neckline or whatever. Okay. Price, after putting on this head and shoulder pattern, price broke this zone, came back for a retest, though this retest here was a bit shabby. Let's say if you had pending orders here and your stop loss were above here, you would have seen that it took price a very long time before price could drop, right? It took price time, the whole of last week, for price to drop. Now that we have been able to establish that price has given us a head and shoulder pattern on a 4-hour time frame, and we've been able to establish that price has broken this particular trend line, but what is holding price from keep dropping to the downside is this particular bad boy right here, this particular bad boy. So now you guys will be asking, what will be my bias for next week? Am I going to buy Euro USD or am I going to sell Euro USD? That would depend on two things. Euro USD is bullish. Temporarily, it wants to be bearish. What I mean, it wants to retrace. Let's put it that way. It wants to retrace because we are not yet certain that it wants to start heading down. Now let me delete all this. I don't like my chart being messy. I don't like my chart being messy. If I should draw a trend line on the 4-hour time frame like so, we can see that on the 4-hour time frame, this particular Euro USD wants to start heading down. Now, will I be bullish or will I be bearish? I will only go in for a buy on Euro USD if price should break above this zone. If price should break above this zone, I will be going in for a buy. If I see a clear break above this zone, I will now go down to a 1-hour time frame and look for possible retracement back into this zone before taking up for a buy at that particular high right there. But if price should clear this particular zone, this is what is stopping price from heading downward. If price should clear this zone, I will still go down to a much more lower time frame like the 1-hour time frame, wait for a retest of this zone before going in for a sell. And you guys know I like going for a 1 to 3 weeks to reward. I like going for a 1 to 3. So if I'm entering this market here, my TP, if I'm going in for a sell, my TP should be at this low right here. My TP should be at this low right here. That is if price should clear this particular bar, because we can see that price has put in a head and shoulder pattern. But if this particular bar should sustain and we start seeing bullish candlestick to the upside, I will wait for price to clear this particular bar, then my take profit will be at this high right here. That is my analysis for Euro USD. Let us look at GBP USD and see what is happening there. Now on GBP USD, going down to the weekly time frame, if we should go down to the weekly time frame, we can see that GBP USD is also on an uptrend without doubt. It is on an uptrend. A layman can see that GBP USD is on an uptrend. But something happened. The market got to this zone. Let me mark it out. Guys, I'm doing this analysis with you firsthand. The market came into this particular zone. It has rejected this zone a whole week. The market rejected this zone here, rejected this zone here, and has rejected this particular zone right here. And now, looking at the past, we can see that price has reacted to that same zone in the past. Price reacted at that zone here, here, and here. And you guys can see that this is a weekly time frame. You can see that this is a weekly time frame. And what does that mean? It means that this particular zone is solid. It means this particular zone is solid. How are we going to take advantage of this trade on a much lower time frame, seeing the fact that price has refused to break this particular zone? It's simple. I will go down to my daily time frame, and on a daily time frame, you can see that price has put in, should I call this a head and shoulder pattern, or should I call this a triple top? Whatever you call it, you can see that price has tested this zone, dropped, tested it again, dropped, tested it and dropped, and this is on a daily time frame. Aside the fact that price is in an uptrend, aside the fact that price is in an uptrend like so, ideally, we should be looking for buying opportunities. Ideally, we should be looking for buying opportunities, but you cannot see any opportunity as long as price is inside of this particular zone. What do I mean? Maybe price wants to come and make a third touch of this trend line. And if there is something I have learned about GBP USD is that it loves respecting Fibonacci. It loves respecting the 0.5 or 618, one of these Fibonacci. So probably price wants to come, test this particular zone, test this previous high. Let me mark it out. Test this particular high right here. Test this high right there. If there is any chance that price wants to drop to the downside, price might want to come and test, make a third touch of this trend line, test this high. Now let us go down to a much lower time frame like the 4-hour time frame to establish what price wants to do. Let's On the 4-hour time frame, you can see that price has made a triple top, 1, 2, and 3, right? What is holding this market from going down? It's simple. This is what is holding this market. Guys, that is how I love doing my analysis, so that if anything should go wrong, I'm not emotional about my trades. I take out my time to analyze this market. Now, you guys might be asking, what are my buyers the coming week? It's simple. Ideally, I was expecting price to break out of this particular bar, make a retest, and then drop all the way down. Is that late? Is that yet late? No. This is what I think price might do the coming week. If I'll be going in for a sell, if price should take out this bar, I'll be going in for a sell if price should take out this bar, because right now I see this as price coming back into our 0.5 and 618, into this golden zone. I can see price coming back into this golden zone, and I'll only be interested in this market. I would have said, let me enter this trade at this zone for a sell, but I am a more conservative trader. I need to see a clear path of the market before going into any trade. I'll be going in for a sell on this particular trade if price should clear this bar and start pointing down. Then I will take this trade all the way here for my take profit. But if price keep printing bullish candlesticks the coming week, I will only be interested in buying GBP USD if price clears this bar, makes a retest. If price clears this bar, makes a retest, then I will start looking for buying opportunities at the retest of this candle. I repeat, I will wait for price to clear this high and this, make a retest, then I will start looking for buying opportunities. How long will it take this to happen? I don't know. But until I see that, that is when I will start looking for buy. But for the meantime, whatever price does inside of this range, whatever price does inside of this range is none of my concern. All I want to see are two things: for price to clear this bar and start printing a bearish candlestick to the downside for me to hop in for a sell all the way to this zone. Then if in future time price clears this trend line, we will now know that probably GBP USD wants to turn from a bullish trend to a bearish trend. But for now, I see this as a retracement. Price might clear this bar, head all the way here before it rallies up. But if that bearish scenario doesn't happen, I'll wait for a clear break of this our weekly resistance bar here, wait for a retest before I start looking for buying opportunities. So guys, that is my analysis for the week. As you guys know, as a trader, trading is more of a probability game. So you should not just be fixed on saying that after doing your analysis, you have seen that a particular currency pair wants to sell or wants to buy. You have to be dynamic with your analysis. You trade what you see, not what you think will happen. So, and what do I see? I'm seeing that if price breaks this particular bar, we should be looking for selling opportunities. If price breaks this particular resistance bar, I should be looking for buying opportunities. Same thing on Euro USD. If price clears this particular bar, I should be looking for selling opportunities. If price clears this bar and also clear this particular trend line on a 4-hour time frame on Euro USD, I should be looking for buying opportunities all the way to this high. That is my analysis the coming week. For now, let's sit tight and see what the market gives us. And without wasting much of your time, if you want to analyze the market the way I do, I have a course that I have put in place. The link to the course is somewhere around this video or at the description of this video, depending. on the package you choose. We have the package of the premium package and the basic package. You shall see it right there. So make sure to grab it so that you won't enter a trade blindly. You won't jump into trades blindly. You should at least do your analysis, follow your trading plan, follow your trading system, and if price decides to go the opposite direction, you have stop loss in place that should cut you out of trading, not jumping into trade based off of your emotions. So if you think you would like to analyze the market the way I do, make sure to grab the course. And as I said, we have the premium and the basic, whichever one you can afford, it will still give you the same value. So see you guys in my subsequent videos. Bye, 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 and bye.